to all the people that made it happen, from late Brian Murray to Daniel Alfredson for taking care of me while I was really young and showing me the ropes. And a special thanks to all my teammates over the course of the 9 seasons that I've been here. They've treated me with tremendous amount of respect and molded me into not only a good hockey player but a good person as well. And I can't thank them enough for that. And the current teammates that are still down there, battling for this team, I think that it's a great group of guys, and I wish them nothing but the best.
Welcome once again to Game On with Alex Parr. Today's episode includes tons of coverage of the busy day from the NHL, which includes suspensions, signings, and blockbuster trades, all of which are hot topics of discussion. Matt Stefano is joined in the studio by one of the Sault College Cougar men's hockey team players, Tassone, to speak with him about the upcoming season's expectations. I conduct an interview myself where I speak with David Ryan Firlotte after a heartbreaking loss following his kickboxing bout in Montreal. And of course, my football tour of the city continues as I stop by the St. Mary's Field and speak with Coach Marty about his thoughts on this senior football season. With tons to talk about today, we won't waste any more time. Game On is next. And welcome back to Game On. Now, if you've been following a few of the interviews I've done, then this man will come as a familiar face to you, David Ryan Firlotte, the man who had a kickboxing match in Montreal. He's come back not exactly with the result he wanted, but some may argue the decision might have went the wrong way. But that's why we bring David in for the follow-up interview. David, thank you so much for coming back in and letting us pick your brain a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about the overall experience. I mean, flying out to Montreal, getting in the nice venue, the lights, the fans, it must have been overall a pretty enjoyable experience.
Oh, it was a great experience. A little bit overwhelming, but other than that, it was awesome.
And it's Montreal too. You said you were eating well. You said it was a good time. But the match you were in ended up going to decision, and the judges went in the other way of, I don't even remember his name. I think you said John. We called him a bum anyway. Right, I watched the fight myself. I definitely would have to side with the commentators and most of the people. But let's not dwell on that too much. Let's talk about some things that you feel you really did right going into that match. One thing I noticed was you were the aggressor basically the entire time, and that's definitely going to get you some points.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was very aggressive. It was my very first kickboxing match, so I didn't really know what to expect. So I kind of just went in there throwing whatever, and it actually didn't look too bad for my first match. So now I know what to work on for my next one, and then I'm going to come back stronger.
Another thing that was really good that I noticed too was your footwork. You always seemed to have the perfect stance, and it was always ready to pounce on that open opportunity. Now, what would you say, looking back on it, is something you might be able to improve on going into the next time?
Just more kicks, stuff like that. Falling around with MMA, it was a lot of more punching and not very much kicking. A lot of jiu-jitsu. So my game now is just stand and bang, and it's all punching and kicking. So other than that, yeah, just working on my kicking. Right,
and something that was new to me that I wasn't familiar with is he was saying that at least in between 2 rounds you need to throw 16 kicks, was it? So I guess kicks are going to have to become a huge part of your arsenal after that, right?
Yeah, you got to do at least eight kicks around. So.
And you said in the main event that night he wasn't even able to...
No, he wasn't able to throw at least 16, so he got disqualified after the second round.
Looks like we got to get our man David here in the main event next time, right? Yeah. So now in Montreal, you said over the next 4-month span, they're going to be having a card every month. You said you might want to get your feet wet again and jump into that, but what's the process of now until your next fight?
Just basically get back into training. I feel really good right now. I'm not hurt, so back. Pretty much take this week off, and then I'll be back training next week.
And what were some points that were really surprising to you from your opponent? Something that they maybe brought to the match that you weren't expecting, and something he was really good at?
He was very technical. His footwork was pretty good. He was very technical. Other than that, power wasn't the greatest or anything like that, but
And is it hard when you go into a match against a guy that does have the size advantage on you? He was a little bit taller, a little bit lankier.
Yeah, longer reach, longer kicks, but all you got to do is get in, get out.
Right, get in, get your damage dealt, and get out. Who's your favorite sort of opponent to go against? Do you like going against like the taller guys, the David versus Goliath battle, maybe somebody closer to your size, or is there maybe a certain body weight that you definitely like to go up against?
Actually doesn't matter to me really. It's basically all the same. Once you're in, right? It's just finding a strategy that works for you.
And I'm not sure if the cameras can see, but just behind my head, yeah, right here, these were the coaches for David himself going into the match. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the coaches actually do for you going into the match, during the match, and after the match?
Yeah, basically just get you ready mentally, physically, make sure you're stretching, make sure, you're eating well, getting the water, getting all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just basically getting you ready for the match.
And when they actually train you and they're coaching you beforehand, what are some things that they were really stressing to you before going into the match?
Just don't keep your composure, just throw as many kicks as you can, and that's about it.
And if you have to take one takeaway from your match, something that you definitely want to work on, or maybe even something you want to pat yourself on the back for, what would that be?
Just get a little more aggressive after my kick. When I noticed when I was throwing my kicks, I wasn't following up with combos, so that'll be my next time to train. So.
And if somebody is curious to actually watch that match, what was the Facebook page again that you'd be able to find it at? Because I remember I went on and watched it on the Facebook page, but it was a very long link. I just can't remember the name.
WCA series.
Right. So if you do want to check out his fight for yourselves, you can jump on WCA's Facebook page, where if their first live stream, if you go right to the end, he's the last match on the first half of the card. And like myself, the commentators, we're all on David's side here. I definitely think the decision went in the wrong way. But David, I'm sure we're going to be having you in here plenty more, as you're going to have many more fights ahead. And they'll definitely be going in your way that time. So David, thank you so much for coming in, letting us pick your brain, like I said. And right after the break, I will be going down to the St. Mary's football field to speak with Coach Marty a little bit about the upcoming season for St. Mary's. So stay tuned. More Game On after this. As promised earlier, I continue my football tour around the city with another stop. I speak with Coach Marty from the St. Mary's senior football team, and we discuss standout players, team morals, and expectations of the team coming into the season.
Is key, especially when it comes to a team sport. Well, what other sort of fundamentals are we teaching these kids that maybe they won't stick with football, but be able to carry on through the rest of their life?
Well, for instance, today's inclement weather, and you learn that you got to go to work. You got to get up, and the edge. You got to take your lunch pail with you and your hard hat. And these guys wear helmets, and no matter what the weather, if it's rainy out or whatever, you got to go to work, and you got to bring a consistent effort. So, if they learn that, and teamwork too, you learn to work with people and as a group, and you have a common goal. So hopefully they take those kind of skills that they've learned in football. Work ethic, perseverance, dedication, commitment, responsibility, all those things that hopefully they can learn outside the classroom. So hopefully they learn that in the classroom, but football's a special vehicle that can help them even learn those important traits even further.
And come Thursday, who are some people that people should definitely have their eyes on, and maybe some players that haven't sparked interest yet, but you think will make a huge impact?
Well, we have a young team. We got a lot of good juniors here this year from grade 11, but I think Travis Johnson, he was the DePietro winner last year as the top receiver. He's voted that by the league, so he's definitely one to watch. And we have Parker St. Onge is a returning running back, and our front, we got a strong front seven, but particularly on the defensive line, we have a Hunter Musso and a Matt Wheaton and Julian Joya. Those are all strong players that have played for the city, through the SaberCat program, and those are guys to watch for. And there's others too, but I think those are the main leaders on our team.
And if you had to use just a couple of words to describe the overall team, what would you say?
I think we're young, but we're enthusiastic, we're energetic, we got a good leadership core, we have good young players coming up, and it always boils down to how hard you work and your commitment, effort, and your work ethic, and we're looking for some success this year, but it's a tough league. Cora will be good, Spear Heights will be good, White Pines I think will in the mix, but it's a tough league, and you need some breaks, but you reap what you sow. So hopefully we work hard and we you know, we try to have some success this year.
Marty, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Game On. Joining me in the studio is another member of the Sault College Cougars hockey team, Mark Tassone. Mark is getting ready to play this year with the Sault College Cougars men's hockey team. Mark, great to have you in the studio today.
Thanks a lot, Matt. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so Mark, you're getting set for your first season as a member of the Sault College Cougars men's hockey team, and you're also taking the Police Foundations this year at Sault College. Talk about why you thought Police Foundations was the best course for you, and why did you feel that playing hockey at Sault College would have been great for you this year?
Yeah, absolutely. It was tough in the summer to decide to go to school, but you know, me and my parents had a long talk, and I kind of decided what program to take and where to go. And you know what, it's all working out right now, like perfectly fine. You know, the campus is good. You know, the hockey team's going to be very good. You know, the workout room, it's like second to none. The campus is good. It's nice and small. It's easy to get around, and you know, I'm pretty happy right now.
And you spent the last 3 seasons playing with the Sault Thunderbirds Hockey Club. And looking back to your rookie season back in 2015-16, you were the youngest player on that roster. And you had a great season with them. You helped them to the Copeland Cup McNamara Trophy and then all the way to the Dudley Hewitt Cup Final. Talk about your rookie season that year with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, that was it was pretty crazy. I still remember the day where, you know, I went into the dressing room, they asked me to sign, and you know, I was kind of sitting there like scared. You know, I'm 16, and do I really want to be playing against 20-year-olds, or should I just go back and play midget? But you know what, I think it was the best decision for me to go up and play Junior A, and I've never looked back, so it's been great.
And then following that season, your hard work began to be noticed. You were invited to the Sioux Greyhounds rookie camp in May of 2016, and then you got rewarded even more. Then in August, you were invited to the London Knights training camp during the summer. Talk about what you've learned from both of those OHL camps.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to go to the SR and participate in the rookie camp, and then go down to London for their main camp. You know, it opened my eyes a lot how many good players there were, and you know, that facility in the city, it was very cool, and I learned a lot from that experience.
And then your second season with the Thunderbirds, that was when you were coached under Jordan Smith for the second year before he moved up to become assistant coach of the Sudbury Wolves, or associate coach, sorry. Talk about what you've learned from Jordan Smith in your second season with the team, and you also finished 4th in team scoring that year with 37 points. What do you remember about your second season?
My second season, I went into it, you know, I had more confidence. You know, Jordan was always great. All 3 of my years, he was always great. He was always there for me, and you know, helped me out. And but no, we had the second year, it was a little different. You know, we had a younger team, and you kind of relied on the guys, like the younger guys. And but other than that, it was very good. And you know, I respect Jordan for what he did for me, and you know, I couldn't be happier.
And then during the offseason in 2017, you were traded to the Trenton Golden Hawks, began the season with them, and then you ended up being traded to the Powassan Voodoos. Then what do you know? November of 2017, you find yourself back on the hometown Sioux Thunderbirds in a trade. And then during that season, you still finished 2nd in team goals with 19 without playing a full season with them. How did coming back to the Thunderbirds feel this past season, and your accomplishment with them?
It was a long year. You know, personally, I never thought I would be coming back and playing for the Sioux, but you know, I guess it happened, and I just want to give credit to John Porco and him. You know, kind of let me come back to the team, and trading for me. It was it really helped me out a lot, and it made me feel a part. And you know, I just remember walking back into the dressing room. I was really happy to see some of the guys and to be living at home again. And like I said, you know, I just want to thank John for that. And you know, it was good.
And
And one last thing before you go, Mark, you're starting your season on the 21st with Sault College. You guys are starting on the road in Ferris State. Talk about what you plan to bring to the team this year and while you're playing under head coach Mike Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have a pretty good team this year. You know, we just started last week, and you know, we have a couple practices over here and there. And like you said, we're off to Ferris State next week. I'm pretty sure it is. And you know, we're happy. We got a good coaching staff, good scouts, manager, stuff like that. And you know, we're all working out together as a team. And like I said, practicing, and you know, we're doing a lot of video and stuff like that. So, you know, I think we're going to be ready to go, and you know, it'll be a good time for sure.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much for coming in. Mark Tassone, Sault College Cougars forward, game set for the upcoming season. Back with more Game On right after this.
And there you have it. Game On is once again finished for the day. All of us from ONNtv give a big thanks to you, the viewer, for spending your last half hour with us. Don't forget, every Tuesday to Friday at 8:30, you'll catch myself and Matt discussing all from the world of sports. With that being said, we can't wait to see you again tomorrow to wrap up another work week. Good night, everybody. Well, thanks again for tuning into another video of Game On here on our YouTube channel.
Is this just your show?
No,
is this just your show?
I say that?
I'm in the show too, Alex.
Guys, we're rolling.
Oh boy, do I ever love working with Matt Stefano on Game On. Thanks for tuning in. Matt, do you have anything to say?
Alex, you're number one. I enjoy working with you too. We're the best.
If I'm number one, you're number. What do you mean? You're number one.
You're number one.
No, you.
No, you're number
Okay,
one.
fine.
Come on, we're both number one.
Okay, I'll take it.
You're number one team.